welcome to the Hell Has an Exit podcast. I'm your host, Bryan Alzate. This show is not affiliated with any specific 12-step program. If you or a loved one is struggling with an addiction, please find a local 12-step meeting. If you believe you may need detox or drug treatment of any kind, please call 888-699-9395 to speak to a specialist. This show is sponsored by United Recovery Project, a state-of-the-art drug and alcohol rehab facility. You can visit our website at unitedrecoveryproject.com. This is the Hell Has an Exit podcast where we interview individuals who have been to hell and back.
Yes.
Got my boy Mario here. Yes. No Mario for Hell is Empty and the Devils are here. I love the t-shirt.
That's right.
And, one of my close friends, my brother, one of my real hardcore Spanish friends. Guatemala represent.
Central America.
All right, so let's get into it. I guess just tell us a little 20-minute, 30-minute how it all began.
Wow, you know what I mean? So first and foremost, I just want to say that I'm extremely grateful where I'm at right now in life. Extremely grateful for this journey. You know, it's wild. Hindsight's 20/20. You know what I mean? But being able to reflect and look back on everything that's ever happened throughout my whole entire life, it brings me to a real deep appreciation and love for like this particular journey of like staying positive in recovery, focusing on spiritual growth, you know what I mean? And just really like understanding and learning a lot about myself. So extremely grateful, man. I love that we were just talking about the Mike Tyson situation, man. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's wild, man, because there's been different stages in my life, as I'm growing as a man. I'm 44 years old right now. And all these different stages that I've been, in my earlier years, super arrogant, hard-headed, stubborn. In my 30s, I was forced a ton of humble pie, Mm-hmm. And in my 40s, you know what I mean? I've been able to like genuinely enjoy the fruits of, of like some of this work that I put in internally, because, like we were talking about Mike Tyson, with all that money that he made and lost, you wonder why when you're ignorant towards understanding how money works, ignorant towards understanding how the world works in certain perspectives, or how, if you've never come from anything and then you have it all, it's very easy to lose focus on your morals and your moral grid, or just a compass or whatever. So, it's interesting you was talking about it, and that's been a lot of my experience, just to tap into it a little bit for the audience so they could understand a little bit about myself. Obviously the accent is from New York. I was born in Guatemala, but I was, brought over fairly quickly, 6 months old. Grew up in Queens, Far Rockaway. At the, in the earlier years, extremely fanatical, religious family. Immigrant family, living in New York, living in, impoverished situations, just trying to make ends meet, and just everything was extremely drastic. When you would step out into like the neighborhood, everything was an extreme, people get mugged, you hear gunshots, you would hear all that stuff, and then in my household, everything was extreme too. Why is this happening to us? So if a situation, arised, it was because, it was because we weren't doing something right in God's eyes. You know what I'm saying? That kind of mentality. So it was an extreme on that end. Coming up, I had a very difficult time identifying and kind of connecting and relating with people. You know what I mean? I later find out in my older years, as well as
When did you start leaving like that fanatical religion mentally in your head, like as a child?
As far as like leaving it or
when did you stop buying into it? Yeah, when did you start rejecting it?
Well, it's interesting because now, when I look back with a wise mind, I'm able to observe and describe, the exact natures of a lot of things. I don't think I've ever stopped believing into it until probably like 5 years ago, mm-hmm. And then that was when that Living Clean book came out, the second edition. Right, and it started talking about, you can have your own spirituality, blah, blah, that's when I stopped believing it. I rejected it, you know what I mean? Since
So you always, and I'm not saying like not believe in God, but I'm saying like the fanatical aspect, like the way your family brought it up.
Oh yeah, like I said, like 5 years ago, because like a lot of that shame, that mentality carries on, just individuals, exploring life or making mistakes, or what I mean, what we do in active addiction, and even in non-active addiction, you know what I'm saying? Like I've seen some of the most degenerate stuff happen, you know what I mean, with people, carrying the clean torch, including myself, you know what I mean? I'm not abstained from, any purist type of title, but like I said, the mentality, the guilt, I always felt that, you know what I mean. It was because it was bred inside me, you know what I mean, and that was a big part of my struggle, to be honest with you.
And was a lot of that like punishment.
Yeah,
like God's punishing us?
1000%, man. Everything from like sex to like, even I can remember at a very young age, like not feeling guilty or bad because of certain cartoons, I would want to watch, or I'd watch at a friend's house, like the Smurfs, just crazy shit, bro. I'm telling you, man, you know what I mean? Yo, that's a throwback right there.
So your mom was saying like,
yeah, they would just say, they were demons, devils. They pollute your mind. And there's just a lot of criticism. There was never really in the household any embracement of like our individual self, identification. They never embraced those things. So I think like a big part of me going through that experience, it caused me to close up and act out in other ways. I remember my first experience of acting out as a child, like stealing, from my mom. She would give me money to go put in the piggy bank or whatever. And I remember stealing. And I remember like, yo, I hit this lick. Yo, I'm going to go down to Mott Avenue and go to Rite Aid or whatever and pick up those G.I. Joes I remember seeing last week when I saw. And looking back and understanding, my process as an addict, those are some of my earlier memories of like me feeling like I copped, and then the obsessive compulsiveness, because when I did get caught, you know what I mean, for doing that, I had mad G.I. Joes. I had so many G.I. Joes. It
had progressed already.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And the disease had progressed to a point where, it was like you couldn't stop. It was already in the mix, and you just had to keep feeding them G.I. Joes, you know what I mean? You had to keep getting them. So, and that was like one of the first earliest memories that I could identify that was an issue. And I remember getting caught and getting disciplined. I used to get disciplined very hard. That also created, resentments. You look back now, that shit's abuse. You know what I'm saying? It's abuse. If I did that now to somebody, I'd be on World Star. You know what I mean? My career would be over. But the reality is that, that's what it was back then. So as a child, you getting beat in the name of Jesus, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you're like, fuck Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo. And so like those resentments at an earlier age started happening. And I think like really when the tipping point for me was in this whole process, you know what I mean? Because like I said, I was having issues with identifying. I was from Guatemala, living in Queens, Far Rockaway. Majority of the neighborhood was African American or Dominicans, you know what I mean? And like, my best friend was from El Salvador, but for the most part, Puerto Ricans and stuff like that. There wasn't really like, like a cultural identity, per se. I know people like the group Latinos into the same, into the same bucket, but it's not real. It's not real, people. It's not real. If y'all looking for all Latinos to vote for a particular candidate, you're confused. Mm-hmm. They got a crazy, subgroups within there.
Bro, there are people from North Colombia that hate people from South Colombia.
Everything, bro.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. So it does, you know what I mean? And the foods are extreme from, region to region. You know what I mean? Like Central Americans and Mexicans are not eating what Panamanians are eating or Colombians are eating. You know what I mean? Vice versa. You know what I mean? Or Puerto Ricans or whatever. So anyways, going through all that, having two mentally disabled sisters, I think my earliest memories of like seeing other addicts was, seeing my stepbrothers die, from ODs or heroin use and stuff like that. But what really like just really angered me, and it just put me in a really like traumatic state, that has been something that I've had to work on since was when I was around, 8 or 9 years old, and I had an uncle who attempted to molest me, and I talk about this all the time because, I know that that's a lot of people's stories, and that's something that I've had to deal with through trauma. I went through all the phases of it, anger, shame, embarrassed, feeling not good enough, or, just being very aggressive, because of that particular moment that I didn't feel safe in my journey. And I remember when it happened, and it was extremely traumatic for me as far as like feeling safe, and just felt like nobody was gonna take care of me unless I took care of myself. And I'm not.
And your dad wasn't around.
Yeah, and I never met my real father. That's another story. Part of the story too. I've come to terms with that recently a lot, so that's why I kind of like glazed over that part. To be honest with you, it used to be very, very traumatic for me as well. The abandonment issues. And that particular part plays a big place in my romantic relationships, extremely. The way that I was parented, the lack of a parent, the way my mom parented me, really created a confused idea of what, intimacy was. But, going back to that particular issue, at that time, I still didn't know that my stepfather wasn't my father, too.
Wow.
Yeah, so at that time, I still didn't know. So that situation happened. I was angry, and then I wanted to get away from these people. And then my aunt, told me that, hey, your real father is not your stepfather or whatever. And it kind of just opened up this wound that I didn't even know I had. It allowed me, it made me curious. I thought, hey, this guy's gonna save me. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it?
How old were you?
Oh, at that point, I was like 11. So I was going through those trauma issues, and then around 11 and 12, we were moving from New York to Central Florida, and I had been like constantly asking, hey, I want to meet my real father. They had finally, discovered this number, said that they were gonna let me speak to him. We ended up going to Central America, and I remember getting excited about to make this phone call. I made this phone call, and in that phone call, some lady picked up, and I was like, hey, looking for Mario. Has the same name as I do. She's like, he's not here. He's got to catch a flight tomorrow, but if you call back later, you'll catch him. And I was like, all right, tell him I'll call back. And then I waited all day, and in the evening, I got on the phone and made the phone call. And when I made the phone call, the lady picked up the phone again. And when she picked up the phone, I was like, hey, is Mario home now? And she was like, yeah. And she was like, who is this? And I was like, yo, this is his son, Mario. So then she muffled the phone, and in the background, I could still hear him say, who is it? In Spanish, right? ¿Quién es? And then she was like, es un muchacho que dice que es tu hijo. You know what I mean? Like some kid saying it's your son. And I remember hearing him say, dile que no estoy. Tell him I'm not here. And at that point, he was like in my brain, in my mentality. I know a lot of addicts can identify to this triangle of self-obsession, you know what I mean? This lack of self-acceptance, you know what I mean? And all these other things that I was, encountering as a young man at that period in time. I didn't have the skills. I didn't have the support, with my family to help me cope with that situation. And it just felt extremely rejected and abandoned, at that moment, and dropped the phone. I remember just going out to like this a soccer field with some cats were just, playing, some older kids that I knew that were drinking. And I remember having my first drink. And that was like the first time that I had my encounter with like, a mind or mood altering substance. And, when I drank that alcohol was, it's crazy because it was euphoric, It was like when you press the light switch, right? Boom, it's working, Drink some alcohol, boom, it doesn't feel it anymore. But, just like the light switch, when you turn it, when it goes off, it's dark, and then you're just scrambling to try to look how to turn the light on again, boom, right? So then you get this false light because you never go outside, you know what I'm saying? And you don't live no more because you just
synthetic.
It's synthetic, and that was like the beginning, you know what I mean, or the fury of like feeling abandoned, feeling rejected, angry, you know, all these secondary emotions, you know what I mean? Because at the core of it,
How long did it take you to learn that?
bro, yo,
Because like,
I don't recommend my journey to nobody.
Yeah.
When I say that, I don't mean it like don't see the progress and stuff. What I mean it is that, you know what I mean, like everybody's journey is unique. Just look for the spiritual principles within those individuals. You know what I mean? If there's a couple ways to get to that destination, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like the roadmap is always gonna be the spiritual principles in my opinion. Yeah, but it took me a minute, man. It was
I was particularly talking about like anger being a secondary emotion, you know, because bro, I see people
20,000 in therapy. 20,000, my mans. Yo, when I hit the 20,000 mark, I was like, yo, are you gonna teach me something? And he was like, yeah, man, you know, that shit you just exhibited, secondary emotion.
People don't know about that, bro. It's crazy because you know, being clean and recovery, we learn all these things and it's just like normal to us. Like when you said that, I was like, yeah, you know, because I know that anger is a secondary emotion.
Facts.
The first emotion is fear.
Facts.
You know, and sometimes I think like, bro, there's people walking around all day that don't know that.
Facts.
You know,
Facts.
that this is just the secondary emotion. That there's a whole bunch of secondary emotions.
Yeah, that's it, yo. That's the beauty of like, you know, being part of like a group. Having a support group, having individuals that you could talk to, like, you know, you're one of those individuals for me, man. You reconnect me to like that knowledge and all that stuff. Is that, you know, we remind each other all these things, you know, because the reality is that from my experience, a vast majority of people out there are not operating like that. You know, it almost seems like a lot of people are just emotionally surviving, you know. It's just like everything, like their finances, you know what I mean? Everything, emotionally surviving, living paycheck to paycheck on emotions.
Emotionally.
Yeah. And, you know, and listen, I subscribe to that plenty of times. So, you know, everything that I say it from experience. You know, I lived it and I've gotten out of it. I don't talk from a perspective like thinking that I know somebody else's journey. I'm talking about my journey. I know what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck emotionally, codependency, toxicness, you know what I mean? All that stuff. Being a part of it, being the creator of the toxicness and not even knowing you were that fucking toxic until 5 years later when the light bulb hit you and you was like, oh, secondary emotion.
Yep.
Right? So yeah, it took a minute, you know?
All right, let's keep going.
Yeah. So going back to that situation, you know, abandonment, rejection issues, you know, puberty, moving to a new area, just very confused young man, very hurt, very angry, depressed, you know, and the only thing that would bring a smile, right, was alcohol, you know, and then just like anything else, you know, anybody out there that, you know, could identify with addicts or addict mentality or obsessive compulsiveness or whatever you want to identify it as, but you know it's a problem type of vibes. Sooner or later, the alcohol isn't enough. You know what I mean? Because then you still feel the pain with the alcohol. You know what
I never liked alcohol, but you know, I did until I found something else. But it just like took too long. I remember being a kid, being like, "Man, I wish this came in like a little pill," like because I don't like the drinking aspect. It's like the process of drinking takes too long.
Yeah, it fucks up your liver. You get super pot belly, everything, bro. Yeah, I was a big drinker, and then you know progressed into like the heavier narcotics, and then just. You know, and through that process, just really never learned how to cope, how to have emotions, how to communicate, how to be in relationships. You know, I always wanted to be in relationships. It was this love-hate with like people for me. You know, it was like, you know, because I just feel all humans, we desire connection. That's why we're here. That's why we're doing this podcast. That's why we're doing all these things, is because we want to connect with other individuals one way or another. Even when you're like isolated, you're still wishing that somebody would connect, at least one person. And when that one person finally texts you, because it's like you sometimes, you're like, oh shit, somebody still cares, you know? Even when you're angry at everybody, like fuck everybody. And then, you know, people reach out, it still feels good. You know, like I just didn't have that, man, and I struggled with that. And you know, it just rebelliousness led me into like getting expelled from high school, you know, barely graduating with a high school diploma because, you know, I was forced to go to like this Christian academy, you know, cheated the whole time I was there. Then went into the Marines, you know, and my stepfather died when I was in boot camp. So it was another like excuse for my addiction to get me to continue acting out. You know what I mean? Now, you know, I look back now, I look at it in that respect now. I understand my disease now. I like to call it a disease, you know, because it's a dis-ease, yo, for me. All right? Yeah, I could get into scientific terms. You could do all that later. I'm definitely not going to partake on that particular conversation. I enjoy calling it a dis-ease because it definitely gives me a lot of discomfort in my life, emotionally, physically, you know, financially, you know what I mean? All that. So for me, the disease, I saw it back then, you know what I mean, progress. And, you know, I just went back to like what I knew made me feel better. And that's just drinking and drugging. And I played the game, man. You know, ended up getting kicked out of the Marines, coming back home, hitting the streets. And then, you know, met my drug of choice, you would call it, right? The one. The one who took us out, which was crack cocaine. You know, and it's crazy because, like, the way that I was introduced into crack cocaine, it was like, you know, you would hear Wu-Tang talking about smoking them wolves, right? So I was like, oh, Wu-Tang's doing it, I'm going to do it too. Wow. And then I ended up like old dirty bastard almost, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I remember that was a fast decline, man. Fast decline. 6 months, I think, you know, first stint that I got arrested. You know,
yeah, crack is quick.
Yeah. Yo, crack. Yeah, I was actually joking around with my girl today, and then we was calling them crack bites. I was like, yo, it was like, who the fuck is smoking crack, man? I was like, they should have called them something like crack bites or something, you know what I mean? Make it kind of cute or some shit like that. But, you know, at the end of the day.
The thing is, when you're smoking crack, there's no illusion that you're not. You know, like there's no illusion that it's manageable. Yeah. There's no illusion that it's a weekend thing. Yeah. Like, bro, you're smoking crack.
Yeah, you smoking crack.
Like when you light that shit up in front of somebody that's never seen it before, they're like, yo, you're smoking crack. Like, it is like, you don't cross the line. Like, everybody's freaking out. Get away.
You ain't pulling up to the dispensary.
Yeah, exactly, you know right?
Yeah. You ain't pulling up to the dispensary to get your product. Yeah, you pulling up to like the hood. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like you pulling up to some spooky, sketchy areas. And yeah, man, I even recently, you know, because I had moved down to Miami, and I recently, you know, I guess because of this pandemic and stuff, like, recently heard like people were really on that shit down there. You know what I mean? Like, cold, crack, and all that stuff, and it's spooky. I know what it did for me, man. Spooky. You know, the spookiest part of it, because I could go down so many spooky routes down that shit, bro. You know what I mean? The spookiest part for me, really, man, really is the fact that you have no control over it. You know, it is like one of those things that is just gnawing,
bro. When it
gnawing
calls
on you,
when it calls, when that shit calls you at the middle of the night,
gnawing.
It's just always there, bro. It's just always there. And you'll think it's gone. Like, I'll throw the crack pipe out.
I was the king of that. I was the king of like throwing away the porn and the crack all the time. You know what I'm saying? Love porn and crack because I was so cracked out of my mind. There was no way you were getting me next to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't even be around a body most of the time because I was fucking like paranoid. And I ain't want to share my crack. You know what I'm saying? So,
peeing in the sink.
Yeah. Peeing in the Gatorade cups.
I was talking to somebody that had never smoked it before. And I was like, yeah, bro, peeing in the sink. And he's like, what, the bathroom didn't work?
No.
I was like, bro, you
kitchen sink, bro.
I was like, you don't want the sound. You know what I mean? Like, that shit would freak you out.
Yo, I'd be peeking out the windows. The biggest thing, the craziest thing when I used to be cracked out of my mind was that I would get into like this accounting mentality of like, you know, save some money, you know, put some over here for like certain finances, you know what I mean? Put some in the brokerage account. But, you know, I would be like, so, all right, I got my big old crack piece. I'm going to break it up into pieces and I'm going to put it
hide it in the house.
Yo, I try to hide that shit thinking I would be able, it'd be a mission. Y'all be tearing stuff up trying to find that piece, smoking mad popcorn from the ceiling, mad crumbs, breadcrumbs.
Kitty litter.
Kitty litter, destroying the stem. It's like 3 a.m. Gotta go pop somebody's antenna. That's how old I am, because that's how long it was since I was out there like that. And it was wild, man. It was bizarre. It was, I would have to say, is one of the most insidious scenarios. You know what I mean? When you really get into it.
And it really feels like, I've also been addicted to opiates, bro, but there's something like evil about it. Like you just feel so dirty.
Yeah,
like you could take 1,000 showers after and still not feel right.
I'd be in the fetal taking a shower with hot water for like 30 minutes. Just for the shame.
I remember after I would drink after it was all gone, I'd drink a glass of orange juice and it would feel like sizzling down my throat. Like it's just like you haven't drank in like 10 years.
Yo, I would get like these pills. I forgot they were called. It was these red vitamin pills, and I would come down. Probably I'd smoke. I was like at 4 or 5 days minimum, right? And then I would come down, eat mad fast food, right? And then in that time, I would take mad vitamins to try to just stay healthy. Cause it was like that bad, bro. It was like literally belt loops were gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
in days,
and it was crazy because it was like, it really accentuated like the character. You know what I mean? Cause like all drugs do, in my opinion, bro. Like getting to the point where we're at right now in our journey.
Well, like my mom could always see it in my eyes.
Oh yeah.
She never needed to drug test me. Yeah. She would just look in my eye, and not even from being high, from the shame.
Yeah.
My mom would always see the shame on me, like you fucked up again.
You fucked up, but nah. Yeah, all drugs do, in my opinion, though, since I'm like from my journey right now, all they do is really accentuate the character that's in you already. If you're a hurt person, bro, you know what I mean? You're going to be a hurtful person. You know what I mean? You're going to hurt people. You're going to try to fucking do everything. If you're a sneaky motherfucker, you're just going to be the illest, sneakiest motherfucker ever. You're slimy. And it just like really accentuates all these character defects that we already possess, and that was one of the biggest things aha moments that I had was understanding that like, the disease wasn't really in the actual drugs. Cause that's the stuff that kept me, continuing. Cause I used to do mad things to try to like not smoke crack, right? I would be like, yo, I'm gonna buy this 6-pack of beer. I'm gonna put it in the fridge. I'm gonna take 2 today, 2 tomorrow, whatever. I was trying to regulate myself. I'm only gonna smoke this, maybe snort some powder, whatever. And by the end of the night, I was already like negative in the bank account, trying to scam, figure out how I'm gonna get my next hit, right? Back then it was the ATM scams. You put the money, the empty envelope, right? Like you were doing a cash deposit in your bank account. They'll give you a credit, for $300 or whatever. Pull that shit out. You lived. You lived for another couple hours to the sunrise. It's a fucking nightmare, man. Yo, fucking trying to get the dealer, trying to get somebody to open up, the paranoia, the shame, the guilt. Yo, I used to pull up to the fucking red lights. Yo, I used to drive just looking out the rear wheel mirror, dog. You know what I mean? I would never look forward.
I remember just asking myself that same question. Yeah. Is that a taxi cab or a cop? Like what?
Yo, like 99.99% of the time, I always thought it was a cop.
Always.
Yo, and acted like paranoid like a cop, and it was never a cop. Yo,
I've had hallucinations, I'm sure a lot of people have. So what happened after that? You go to your first stint in rehab, your first arrest.
Oh yeah. So I was in this very, I was in a relationship at that time, very volatile, mostly because of my own insecurities and not being able to understand, emotions, and jealousies and stuff like that. So, anyways. Ended up having a lot of fallouts with that individual, her family, blah, 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 whatever. And just was whacked out of my mind. And ended up getting arrested, and catching a couple of charges for terrorizing, an individual cracked out of my mind. And that was my first time. Because I think that the first time that somebody kind of like, insinuated I had a problem was when I was in the Marines, and they were like, oh, but what they called it was I was a binger, right? So for me, that was like a C+ in life. It wasn't the F of being called an addict.
Yeah, you don't drink every day.
Yeah, I'm not a junkie or what the fuck, that separation, that we do. But for me, it was then they kind of gave me a little taste of that, but I was like, whatever. But when I got arrested, I realized I had a problem. I couldn't stop. I got arrested again. Then somebody suggested I should go to a rehab. I went to I think it was like the Freedom House in Orlando. I don't even know if it's around or whatever, but it was like a faith-based situation. And it goes back to like what I was saying. I didn't stop believing in my faith. Not saying that I don't believe in what in certain aspects of it, but I stopped believing in that, cultish type vibes. recently. But back then, anytime I would come to, like, my clutch was always my higher power or whatever. But it was that, all I knew of it then was like my mom's higher power. But I always went back to it. So I remember going to that place and getting a couple of days getting healthy and then starting to feed me knowledge. But then I got arrested again because they revoked my bond. And then I stayed in jail for like 2 years, going to trial, man. And
you know what I always love that you would share? You'd be like, bro, in jail, you got grown ass men fighting over little Debbie's.
Yeah, fuck it. I do not recommend jail for nobody, man. It's crazy because like, I have a son. He's like 16. It's funny because, they try to emulate all these like characters, that we love, all these rappers and all this stuff or whatever. But when you really be out there, man, that's not the vibe, my mans. You know what I mean? Getting locked up with a whole bunch of grown ass men fighting over fucking honey buns, the telephone. You constantly gotta be on guard on your booty cheeks. Like, fuck that, bro. That's not the vibe. And I ended up in that situation, which was extremely aggressive, very violent, extremely spooky. And it was wild because, like, at that point in my journey with addiction, I was full blown. I ended up, they came and got me out of rehab. I ended up getting out again one more time on another bond because I guess they caught me in a different county or whatever. They didn't catch up to me. I got out on a bond and then they caught me again because at that point I was angry and I tried to, like, agitate the situation more with the people. And then I ended up getting arrested on September 11th. 2001 when the fucking towers went down, dog. Yeah, talk about the insanity in my brain, how self-centered and how self-consumed I am, that I start thinking that I got arrested, that the world's collapsing because of me. You know the vibes. But ended up getting locked up. I remember, that whole scary stuff, man, lockdown, everything. And they took me to my holding cells, and then they took me down to like the population cells or whatever. And I remember it was the first time in my life, probably throughout the whole addiction aspect of it, that I was like happy and relieved. I was somewhere where I was like away from my drugs.
That's when you say you got rescued.
Yeah, that's when I got like like what they say, like that God, that God moment, and I had that, you know what I mean? That the gift of desperation. In that moment, I've had it then. I've had it in those very important times in my journey. But that one right there is because, I went into the cell, man, and I and it was crazy because, the addiction was still there. You know what I mean? The cravings, cocaine, crack cravings, as I remember, are more mental. It's like this gnawing thought. Obsessive compulsive thought that you just can't unloop.
And it's not like anything else. I hate when people are like, oh, it's like when you're really hungry. Or like, it is not like food. It is not like sex. It is not like wanting to drive fast.
It is a pull.
It is crazy.
It is a pull. That's why they call it the monkey on the back. Because that motherfucker it's like a big monkey just pounding on you till you do what it tells you to do.
But for me, it's only when I'm alone. Oof. I'll be with people and it'll be like, I don't even want to do that shit. People will be around me, gassing me up. The second I'm alone, it's like, all right, motherfucker, you know what we about to do. I could sincerely believe it. I don't want to use. I'll tell you, I'm not using. I don't want to get high. I'm not getting high. I'm focused. And as soon as everyone's gone, it's like, all right, we fooled them. You know what to do. It's like a drill sergeant telling you to march. And as much as I believe what I just said, I know that it ain't gonna turn out that way.
You don't know how many times I was at a family event and I was like, yo, I'm gonna go grab the milk, or y'all need sodas? I'll be right back, and then come back 2 weeks later.
And you really think you're going to get...
You really be thinking and then be like, oh, I got cash in my hand?
Yeah, bro. It's so weird because what I always tell people is that you're not the same person in different scenarios. You know what I mean? It's like... you could be faithful to your wife. Be faithful to your wife at the strip club. All right, you might be able to do that. Go spend a night in a hotel room and sleep in the same bed with somebody. Like once you keep pushing yourself in different scenarios, there's some scenarios that you just don't want to put yourself
1000%.
in. You ain't that strong. And I'm okay to admit that. Like, bro, there's this one speaker I used to love that she was crazy. She spoke at one of the conventions. She's like, if I was allergic to peanuts, you would not catch my ass at a peanut factory. All right?
Facts.
And like, bro, with crack, bro, sometimes it's just like, I don't want to go nowhere.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to the gas station. At 3 a.m., I start getting these thoughts and feelings and drug dreams. Get the fuck out of here, bro. That shit was fucking crazy.
And it's crazy because it doesn't go away until you satisfy it. It's a very, very intense, you know what I mean, calling. And it's interesting because, you know what I mean, like throughout the, you know, coming off 15 years in recovery and, you know, and being away from like crack and all that shit, you know, and understanding it from like not only from an addict's perspective, but also from a person that is recovering, but also as a support to other people who are, you know, in active addiction. All that. So seeing it from different perspectives is basically what I'm saying. Is the interesting part about that is that, you know, when you don't have no knowledge or understanding of that, you know what I mean, it's easy to take personal. You know, of, you know, being a parent of somebody that's in active addiction, being a spouse or a friend or business partner. You know,
said you weren't gonna do this again.
It's like, come on, man, stop. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's wild because it's like, yeah, it's really stop, but we don't know when one stop is gonna stop. You know what I'm saying? It's a series of like, for some people it's you know, OD, right? Having to die and come back to stop, right?
And you know, that ability to stop, it's a whole nother thing to stay stopped, because some things stop us or we get stopped or we have that moment of clarity. But it takes extreme vigor and relentlessness and perseverance and trust in a higher power to just like make it one more day, one more hour, and like to have the hope that maybe it won't be that bad tomorrow. Yeah. And then when it is, you're like, fuck. Yeah. And then it's like another day and another day. And then like for everyone it's different, but then you have that one day where like,
and that's what the compassion, bro. That's what the compassion.
People ask me like, yo, you still think about it? I was like, I think about it, but I don't taste it.
Yeah, I don't taste it either. And as far as like,
sometimes I do.
Yo, there's days. There's days.
If I really think about it or I see it or whatever, I could taste it.
Yo, and you know what I'm grateful for is that we're not, when we think about it, you know what I'm saying, we have the tools and we're not in a bad position in life where, you know what I mean, it's attractive. You know what I mean? Like, yo, like the way I'm living at right now, you know what I mean? Like looking over like fucking, you know, my view, how I wake up, my life. You know, it's just I'll weigh the pros and cons list, right? You know what I mean? Like, you know, do I get up and put on my off-white, you know, SB Dunks, or do I sell them for crack? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so for me, I do a daily, you know, so it's, from the moment I wake up, you know, I try to have gratitude, you know what I mean? And like, listen, man, not every day is perfect. We know this, man. Like, you know, we all battle with it. I think we lack a lot of compassion for us, and at times a lot, you know, because I think that's the part where we need help. Because it's, you know, we get into that mentality. Egos get in the way, you know what I mean? And then,
well, we stop forgetting about what it's all about.
Yeah, facts.
It's all about purpose. Not using. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's all about not using. And like, yeah, bro, someone might do you wrong or do this or whatever, but it's like, bro, as long as we're staying clean, like that's the main thing. And like, bro, we're a bunch of junkies and crackheads. You know what I mean? Like, like we're new to all this. And like, even if we've been clean a long time, bro, like, bro, there are people who aren't addicts that struggle way worse than we do. The thing is that when we struggle, if we don't keep in check, we'll go back to using.
Yeah, 1,000%. You know,
so
layers.
Yeah, let's keep going with the story.
Yeah. So, you know what I mean? Like, where would I leave off? You know, military, getting kicked out of military, getting arrested. All right, so going to jail. Jail was like definitely in there with some goons. Horrible experience. And from the looking back, I wouldn't want to go through that. School of Hard Knocks. But it was definitely a very awakening moment. I dug into like a lot of my spirituality that I had understanding at that time. I read a lot of books. You know, I made the best of it. I learned how to play chess. I did all the shit that you could possibly do in there. You know,
spades.
And you know, spades, obviously. You know what I mean? Spades, gambled, everything, dog. Had a store. You know what I mean? When they were participated in a riot. You know, went to the hole many times. You know what I'm saying? All that. But at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Like, I was clean. You know, and this is a very, 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 very important part for the listeners out there who may not have any experience with, you know, staying clean or being clean or having substantial time underneath your belt, abstinent from your actual, you know, drug of choice or any like chemical or whatever. And like, you know, and I got out, you know what I mean? They gave me, part of my sentence was to go to like a dual diagnosis treatment center or whatever. And I ended up getting out, went there, didn't do what nobody told me, you know what I mean? Was into the girls because obviously, you know what I mean, like locked up for 2 years, was into that bullshit, wasn't paying attention, you know what I mean, scamming at the med lines, all this other stuff.
Falling in love.
Yeah, falling in love, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know what I mean, well, from a person that didn't have love, you know what I mean? Any toxic situation can be perceived as love, you know what I mean? And when I say toxic, I mean, coming from me, coming from them, coming from both of us, coming from everything, you know what I mean? Like, I love that shit. I wanted to be loved and I wanted to but I didn't know what love was because I didn't know how to love myself, you know what I mean? And I just created a lot of toxic relationships. Almost got kicked out of there because of the shit. Then I ended up coming out, to a halfway house. I remember picking up a 2-year, 18-month key tag because it was right around my 2 years. So it was the first meeting I've been to when I got out. And I remember getting it and the people were like, yo, how'd you do it? Right? And I didn't even know what to say, dog. I was like, I was in jail, right? And it's crazy because like later on, I realized like that was a moment in my life where I could have like made the decision to say, oh, you know what, I didn't do anything. I was just locked up in a cage. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't until later on that I realized that clean time don't equal recovery. You know what I mean? And it goes back to what you're saying.
Not just that, bro. Mad people are using in jail.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. True. People are using in jail and stuff like that. But it's definitely a lot easier to stay away from it. You know what I mean? Because of like the characters, how sneaky it is to get the stuff in there or whatever, and getting involved in all that bullshit. But yeah, you can still get high in it. So, it was still, I'm not going to take away from that time that I had, because that abstinent time, built mastery.
But it's not the same as
it's not where I'm at right now.
Recovery. 2 years of recovery and 2 years clean are two different things.
2 years in recovery, 2 years clean is two different things. 2 years, 30 days in recovery is a lot different than 2 years clean.
But at the same time, 2 years clean is not the like, because we see motherfuckers gun ho at 30 days clean. I've seen people 30 days clean, super gun ho, quoting the literature, talking about the four agreements.
Bubble yum.
I see people with like 6 months clean reading the four agreements. I'm like, whoa, slow down, bro.
Chill down your son.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not like, I'm not knocking it or whatever. I understand, it's not about exclusivity either. I'm not trying to say this is only for people who have multiple years clean. You can't understand that. But, bro,
have a level of humility in there.
Learn about the first step. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, learn about service. Make the coffee.
Yeah, make the coffee. Have a level of humility in there.
That's the part where I want to do the podcast because I feel like there's a lot
Don't judge. Yeah. Don't judge. Don't get on your little soapbox because you're on your pink cloud. You know what I'm saying? Because I was that person, yo. I'll keep it 100, man. I remember being able to step into like third gear, and being like, yo, I got this shit down packed. Ain't nothing fucking with me. And they get slapped with like a flat tire in the middle of nowhere, just unmanageable, just steamrolling over shit. Next thing you know, I got a case at a year clean. You know what I'm saying? So like,
let's talk about that.
Oh yeah.
So after those 2 years,
I went to a halfway house, couldn't get a job because I was on probation. Went to a fucking call center. Ended up, me and my baby moms, whatever, having a kid, relapsed. I relapsed because I remember I got out of the halfway house. I relapsed. They gave me my deposit back. I was at the Boca house, Boca. You know what I mean? And like, it was wild, man. It was just off to the races again. And then the crazy insanity, right? The insanity of that particular journey. It took me 4 years to get back to the rooms because I thought that I could do marijuana maintenance. You know what I mean? And but I was drinking also with the marijuana maintenance as well. But it was wild because I was on probation. So I would smoke weed, drink, party, and then like for, a week, then I would stay clean. You know what I mean? 21 days, go pee, clean, whatever. But then it's just something
That's why I never smoke weed. Bro.
Yeah,
smoking weed on probation is the dumbest shit.
It's the dumbest. But let me tell you something about how fucking crazy our diseases is that, I just was so empty, bro. You know what I mean? And like I just needed.
But it's crazy how we risk our freedom, dog.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, there's so many times it's like, bro, at least go risk it for like something serious, bro. You over here risking your freedom over weed?
What? I've done it for less. Clean. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like just, the decisions we make sometimes, man, when we're not in recovery. You know what I'm saying?
You could be like, yo, it's a 1 in 1,000 chance. You focus on that one. You know what I mean?
Like, I'll be the only one to get it. But the story's gonna be dope, you know? That's another like defect characteristic of like, an addict, an active addict,
Yeah, a lot of times I live my life like it's a story that I like. It's like I'm making the book better.
Yeah.
But this is my life, bro.
Yeah. No, I hear you, man. I hear you. That was like, for me, going through that experience allowed me to understand my addiction as well, because we're master manipulators, dog. Our disease is a master manipulator. It had me convinced that I could get away with this, and I did get away with it, bro. I never got popped for it. I did catch the runs, going to go take a piss test because I was fucking drinking mad vinegar and fucking taking mad fucking detox cleansers because those first 7 days turned into like, oh shit, I gotta go pee tomorrow, and I haven't stopped smoking weed and doing coke and doing fucking everything else. But I didn't get in trouble for that. But it was in 2006, man. Hurricane Wilma had hit. I was living in a townhome with my brother. I was down in Delray, and then for some reason that day we wanted to take it a little bit too further, right? I remember that day. It's wild because I always talk about it. I remember being in Delray, being in at this place called the Bull Bar, drinking, this, that, and the other. I had this wildebeest with me, you know what I'm saying? Because, that's the type of crowd that when you're on those fine delicacy of crack bites, you know what I'm saying? It's the kind of company you keep, right? So I'm in this, this spot with this person, this wildebeest, and then, you know what I mean? I get on 95, hauling ass, drinking, high as hell, whatever, going to go pick up more crack, and I get pulled over. And I remember getting pulled over here. I'm still on probation, mind you, with a 15-year suspended sentence. Fucking got mad legal issues, and here I am, get pulled over, fall out of the car, get out of the car, get put on the back of the fucking trunk. The cop is like, who the fuck is that? To the wildebeest. I was like, that person's not with me. So, you know what I mean? Told the wildebeest to catch a ride home. As he's doing all that searching, all that stuff, he fucking gets a call and just fucking screams at me and jumps in the car and takes off. So it must have been like a serious issue happening somewhere that needed his assistance. And, you would think that like, that foxhole prayer came through quick. You know what I mean? That would be the wake-up call. But it wasn't. I wasn't afraid of that. I wasn't afraid of jail. I wasn't afraid of death. I wasn't afraid of financial fucking disaster. I wasn't afraid of like, accidents. You know what I mean? I wasn't afraid of anything except for not having that next hit.
Yeah.
You know the vibes?
I was going to say the same thing, bro. The only thing I was scared of is not having money for tomorrow, being dope sick, not, looking.
Yeah, just looking mad depressed.
Somebody be like, yo, bro, you got to run across this, field the alligators and whatever. I'd be like, all right, bro, you give me $20.
There'll be some crack bites over there. Yo, and dog, so like, I remember going back home and then just re-up, and I just was smoking till I fucking comatose, bro. I was comatose. And I remember looking in the mirror the next day, and it was like, I love this part because it was like the gift of desperation for me, man. It was my first encounter with God on a personal level, on a level that it was like, I ran out of my mom's blessings. We know that. No, if people are praying for me, they're not praying for prosperity. They're praying for survival for me. You know what I'm saying? The prayers are different. You know what I mean? The prayers aren't like, I hope my son, that business deal goes through, or I hope that sale on that property or whatever goes through. And there ain't those kind of prayers. You know what I'm saying? Prayers are like, if he dies, I hope he dies somewhere we can find him, or if he, if he hurts somebody, I hope they don't kill him, type of mentality. And looking in the mirror, man, I just saw a real empty, sad individual, man, and very hollow. And it was scary, man. It was the first time in my life where I was actually afraid.
You talk about how you had some things.
Yeah, definitely. I had, I was smoking. I had, you know what I mean, like, the rocks, everything, you know what I mean? And then, I remember having, when I was at the Boca House, I remember them taking me to like this one particular meeting, you know what I mean? And that's why, like, I appreciate the journey, because people are, you don't realize where the seeds are being planted. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times we don't know who we affect. I know that you get this a lot because of your journey, and I get this all the time too. People reach out to me 3-4 years like, yo, man, look where I'm at right now, man. Thank you. You know what I mean? Like, yo, if it wasn't for you picking up that call, or if it wasn't for you, paying for my coffee at the meeting, or, whatever, bro. I've gotten it all, and I'm like blown away of like, those special affirmations that God gives you, or validations that God gives you throughout your journey. You know what I mean? But that was for me, man. Those people took me to the fucking meeting, and like I remember how to get there. And when I first went into the meetings, man, I was angry, super aggressive. Somebody told me to get a sponsor that has what you want. I looked outside, who had the dopest car, that was my sponsor. You know what I'm saying? All I know is that all I wanted to do was stop smoking crack, right? These motherfuckers were talking about God. They're talking about meeting. They're passing around the basket like it's church. Yo, I didn't give money in that basket till 7 years probably. Wow. That's whoever, shame me. I don't care if you shaming me, is my process. Shame me, because you know what? I did other work in other areas, man. It was my personal struggle. It was my ignorance, man. You know what I mean? It was my personal trauma, man, from childhood with like religion and money and fucking this and that. And, I look back now, I give back wherever I can now. It's a different Mario, but that's where I was at, bro. And, I didn't believe that this was like, as anonymous and as free as it is. You know what I'm saying? I didn't believe it, to an extent.
I kind of did, because when I would go to church, I would see how nice the church was and how much TVs and shit. I'm like,
pull up to the bro,
I was like, bro, you don't need this shit. I go to a meeting, I'm like, whoa, this is pretty much bare necessities, dog. They got the little shithole meeting house. They got some crap coffee. They got some donated chairs. Sofas. The money ain't going here. You know what I mean?
True.
The money's going somewhere else. But when I would go to church, I'd be like, bro, why does it have to be so nice? Yeah. I would go to churches and get real like, bro, I ain't got to be this nice, bro. This is a $4 million building, bro. This is crazy.
You wasn't as bitter as me.
Yeah, bro. I wasn't as bitter as you.
You wasn't as bitter as me. I was so bitter,
I walked into my first meeting. I was like, I'll put $1 in this shit. They look like they need it.
Yo, word. Be like, yo, I'm about to order some chairs right now for Amazon.
Bro. I'm about to order a chair, bro.
No, you're right, man. Like I said, man, it was like my disease, man. It was keeping me from wanting to connect, and it's, that's that.
So that's how you started to get clean.
Yeah, that's how I started to get clean, man. In that respect, I picked up my first, white key tag. I'm a proud member of the Don't Get High No Matter What. It's a tough membership. You know what I mean? If you don't subsidize it with like literature, steps, other stuff, you know what I mean? It's a rough journey.
I tell people all the time, bro, I was like, it's about not using no matter what. And you could do it the easy way, you could do it the hard way, bro. Yeah. You can just hold on like a motherfucker and see how long that works, or you could do it the fucking softer, easier route. And before you know it, staying clean is going to take care of itself. You ain't even going to have to struggle with it. Yeah,
it's a beautiful journey, man. Like I stepped into that. And it's crazy. Like I said, I picked a sponsor. I had the dopest whip out there. And it was a very intellectual individual. Love him. Gave me a lot of knowledge, put up with a lot of my shit. You know what I mean? Like I would call this guy and I would just argue about the literature with him. I'm like, fuck that shit. That shit lying. What it says cult there. It says blah, blah, blah. This guy was from Harlem. He was like, he had that 5%er vibes, J Electronica vibes, you know what I mean? And like, he would spit that knowledge and he would calm me down, Were the words therapeutic? Yeah. But I think the essence of like picking up the phone and calling someone else and connecting, I think
the effort, bro.
Yeah, and then the effort and the willingness and all that stuff.
Bro, the effort is different, because it's like, bro, if someone gives you a piece of shit car, if someone steals it, who cares? Someone gave it to you anyways. But if you wash it, that morning of, someone tries to steal it, I'm fighting that dude, because like, bro, I just washed this motherfucker. I just did something into it. Yeah. So like
big issue, and like that's a lot of stuff that I've gotten to see in treatment. How like when you give people too much and they don't like buy in some kind of way, if they don't make a sacrifice of financial, if they don't have some skin in the game, some sacrifice, the percentage of people who actually make it from that is a lot higher. The ones that do give, have skin in the game versus the ones that don't.
Someone was schooling on me that the other day, because they were like, I would be real careful about giving somebody this. I would have him pay a little bit. And I'd always like, nah, it's all good, da da da. And he's like, bro, even if it's your employee or whatever, you always want them to have a little investment in it, even if you're helping them out.
Correct.
You know? And that's something that I get from my dad, because my dad used to always give freely. And then when the people like failed him or whatever, he get all resentful. But they didn't have no skin in the game anyways.
They could walk away.
They just walk away and they're not invested. You put $1 in that bitch and you feel some type of way. It changes you, you know?
How to learn how to give in these last 15 years too, man. You know what I'm saying? Because not everybody needs what they're asking for.
hey, real shit.
You know what I'm saying? Not everybody needs what they're asking for. So sometimes motherfuckers be coming to ask, and I be like, yo, man, I'm looking at your lifestyle right now. I don't really think you need that right now. But hey, I'll give you this meeting list, you know what I'm saying? Or I'll connect you with this person over here, you know, but I don't think those, you know, that $100 to go get a t-shirt, to go to the, you know, hang out at late night at the club is the spot. It's the vibe. You know, it's crazy, man, because like, you know, we're getting into like, you know, these beginning aspects of the journey, you know, but like I said, man, at a year clean, I ended up getting arrested. I ended up going to jail, you know, in early recovery mentality, man, you know, white knuckling it. You know, just doing the minimums, working some steps, but just, you know, at my own pace kind of mentality, and not taking this serious. I ended up acting out on one of my character defects, which was my most prevalent one, which is anger. Ended up getting in an altercation again. My actual probation violated, and I had to go back to jail and got to get extradited back to Orlando, whatever. And going through that process, man, I ended up like going to the same jail that I was in like 5 years prior. When I was in that jail, man, and they put me in these same cells, and I was like on this top bunk next to the shower, water splashing over me. It was just nasty. You know what I mean? And I had already, you know, I had a year of like a clear mind per se. You know, I had a little bit of recovery. I understood some terms. I was no longer a goon to an extent. Like, you know, it was like one of those moments where like, you know, I could either make the left and become a goon and then get into that shit, or I could just stay the course and see what it takes me. In jail, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Having to fucking not have to smack people or try to be the most spiritual in like conversations and not get into altercations and have integrity, all this shit in jail, you know what I mean? But it was one of the first times in my journey that I realized that clean time don't equal recovery. And I realized at that moment that the disease of addiction did not lie in the drugs that I was consuming. The disease of addiction was within me. And I was consuming those drugs to be able to cope with the disease that I had inside me. Yo, and it hit me, man. It just really hit me right there. And I was like, yo, like I could literally end up in the same place I ended up when I was on full crackhead mode. Clean. Yo, ladies and gentlemen, that's the hit right there. Yo, and if you've been in recovery, if you've been around these streets over here, West Palm, Broward, whatever, Miami, you've been in this recovery game with people and stuff like that. You see it all the time, man. You see these wonderful, beautiful addicts, you know what I mean? Make it. You know, you see these wonderful, beautiful addicts. I sound like Trump on that right there. You sound these beautiful addicts out here, you know, living a life beyond their wildest dreams. And then just veer off, you know, just veer off.
Yeah, man, you know, they say don't let the gifts of recovery take you out recovery.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? I've seen people just slowly slowly get away. And I got to take the kids to karate class. I got the game on Saturday. Me and the wife got a trip planned. It's like, bro, I remember you didn't have none of that.
And then the real problem hits, and you're so far from your support group, and the disease is telling you, yo, you can't call them. They're going to laugh at you. You a clown. When's the last time you called them?
Yeah.
Yo, you're looking at them on Instagram. They living their life, dog. You gonna call them? Yo, your last post was live. Don't let them see you sweat.
Not just that, bro. When's the last time they called you and you answered?
Yeah, facts. When's the last time they called you and you answered? Facts.
And it's like, bro, you drift away from them. Now you're gonna come back, and you know, the more you don't go, the more you don't go.
Because relationships are transactional, man. And yo, any relationship is transactional, you know. And when you're not like, when somebody's giving, calling, you're not picking up, and that fades away, yo, you can't turn around, come back, and be like, nobody cared. You know, because that's not the truth. The truth is if you ever been to a 12-step recovery meeting, you've gotten a phone number.
And not just that, bro. A lot of times, like, oh, people don't reach out to me or da-da-da. A lot of times, the people that are reaching out to us, they're not enough.
Yeah.
Like, my mom will reach out to me. Oh, she's just my mom. my other friend reached out to me. Oh, well, the people I want to reach out to me aren't reaching out to me.
It's that girl with the fat booty. She's not paying attention to me, bro.
But like, you know, you got some random kid that hit you up a few weeks ago to sponsor and you ain't answering them. But God is really saying like, that's the person that's going to help you. Yeah. And you looking at them like, nah, you know, they're not it. Yeah. I'm looking for this person to help me.
Yes.
And a lot of times it's the one annoying person we don't want to deal with.
Yes.
The one kid that's been trying to talk to us for 2 weeks about some bullshit fucking pyramid scheme.
Yes, trying to get you in the call center.
It's like
mad marketers showing up to the meeting, mad loafers, everything. You know what I'm saying? Yo, the life is crazy, man. Let me tell you something. South Florida, I love you.
It's crazy.
It's beautiful down here. You know, it's beautiful. You know, I hope our future, you know what I mean, for, you know, the guys like us, man, is that, you know, we mature, you know what I mean? I feel like we were adolescents, you know, in this whole, you know, massive recovery, making money and treatment and doing all these other things that we've done. We were blessed, but it's just like, you know, we were immature. A lot of us were immature in that respect, you know what I mean? Which is fine, you know, as long as, you know, that's the beautiful thing I love about recovery is that the only requirement for recovery is the desire to not use, you know, for membership. The only requirement for membership is the desire not to use.
And no one could take that from you,
and nobody
bro.
could take that away. So we're like, you know, we're in this like developmental stage, man. A lot of guys are going through stuff. A lot of guys have relapsed. A lot of guys have died.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, and like you're definitely you have been consistent. You know, I personally like I appreciate that about you, man. You know, one of the coolest things that you're getting into because I've seen you your whole journey, bro. You know, from hustling those bikes to like, you know, actually before that, when you was at the treatment center, when you was a tech, dog.
I think you knew me when I was working at the mall.
Yeah.
What? Let's get into school and your journey with school.
Yeah, definitely. So right after that, you know what I mean, getting out of jail, it was like this. You know, I lost everything. I had to pay for the attorney. I lost everything. I had less at a year clean than I had when I first picked up my white key tag. Financially, everything was a bottom. And had to live on one of my boys' 1-bedroom apartments on the couch. Had roaches, you know, we had mad sneakers though. You know what I'm saying? Yo, you go through the catalog of any picture I've ever had since I was young. I had mad sneakers. I always had a fresh fit. You know, now that I'm older, I'm just like, yo, I could have invested all that, but whatever. But I look fresh nonetheless. Now, you know, we had mad sneakers, and I went back to college, man. You know, and it was crazy because like, I had, you know, I'm always good with like numbers and, you know, and those type of theories and stuff like that. You know, I never took SATs, never took a formalized, you know, test or whatever. And I went back to school. They're horrible on the placement test. So I had to start a basic math classes, basic, like fractions, bro. You know, before algebra, before pre-algebra. Yeah, dog. So I had to start real rough. And I just kept going, man. And along the journey, you get around these hecklers, these jokers, you know, that don't know how to encourage people, that always want to deflate people's dreams, you know, and they would like make, you know, be like, yo, man, I was like, they would ask, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I want to be like either banker, like finance banker, like, or an accountant or whatever, you know, international banking, blah, 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 whatever. And then they would laugh at me. They'd be like, come on, man, you got a fucked up record, blah, blah, blah. And they would just clown me. And, you know, and it would hurt my feelings, you know. It would hurt my feelings. And I would go to the meeting and I would fucking share and I'd be cussing everybody out and I would be throwing up at the meeting. And at the end of the meeting, people would come up to me and, you know, give me a hug and, you know, and tell me, yo, lost dreams awake and new possibilities arise, man. You know what I mean? And I would hear that and it would give me hope. And then I would go to another meeting and I would hear somebody said, I'm living my life beyond my wildest dreams. And I would like, yo, man, I would be like, yo, that shit like empowered me. It's crazy because just the other day I had this conversation about this. The illest part about those two sayings is that when you realize that lost dreams awaken and new possibilities arise, when you have that awakening, you've already lived a life beyond your wildest dreams. It's the illest thing, dog. And if you could get to that point, you don't have to think, because I used to think a life beyond the wildest dreams was the whip. I used to think that life beyond the wildest dreams was like the girl, the chains, the sneakers, the trips, the fancy dinners, you know what I mean? The cool shit that I was doing. I thought that was the life beyond the houses. Yo, life beyond my wildest dreams was the awareness that I could dream. That in itself was the gift, bro. What I did after that was my selfish, what I wanted. You know what I mean? But the hit was in the awareness.
Or just the ability to try.
Exactly.
You got motherfuckers ain't even trying, bro.
Yes.
It's like you've been at the same job for 8 years.
Complaining.
And you got a dream.
Yeah.
You got this dream in you. You want to go do something corny. You want to go be a ballerina. You want to finger paint. You want to travel to Spain. You want to do something.
Yes.
And you're scared to talk about it because somebody's going to say it can't happen. I don't have enough money.
You're not tall enough. You're not skinny enough. You're not pretty enough. You don't speak clear enough. Because I'm from New York. I got a rough accent. You know what I mean? I love hip hop. You know, I could talk real proper. I'm very educated. Like I went back to school. You know what I mean? Part of that journey is like any good addict, I wanted more. I ended up getting my associate's degree. I ended up becoming a supplemental or instructor there, which is cool because like one of my first students is actually my business partner now in my accounting firm. It's cool that I still have that connection with him. I ended up, getting into a scholars program in accounting. A lot of my education was paid through scholarships and grants. Shit that, listen, this is a kid that almost got expelled, never took algebra, you know what I'm saying? Super wild, it was 29 when I went back to school. And I was excelling in this shit that and then I remember in 2008, economy collapsed. I was graduating with my bachelor's and master's at the same time because I was in that program, but I was in my last year, lost my job. My mom was in the hospital. I had just bought a car. At that time, it was like a Chevy Cruze. The payments were high. You know what I mean? And I was bugging out, man. And it was another pivotal moment in my journey where I realized that, I made that decision to turn my life and my will over to the care of God. That's how I understood.
So I love hearing that because, people see you now. You got the dope whip and you got the fresh sneakers and the jewelry. And I was like, bro, I remember Mario when he had nothing,
dog. When he dropped off a sofa. He dropped off a sofa so I could have something to sleep on, yo. Talk about the budget. The budget was so tight back then
What's crazy is I thought you were balling back then. Bro, you got your own place, whatever.
I sacrificed because I had, I made a lot of wise decisions along the journey because, you know what I mean? I picked up, I don't come from money. My mother was a housekeeper. We come from very blue collar, even less than blue collar, I feel like, mentality, hourly wage employee mentality. And, along the way, you know what I mean? I saw my mother put money into real estate and, she made a couple little things for her. Not rich, but she owns her properties, you know what I mean? And I realized that. So I've been blessed a couple of times to be able to do stuff like that. But at that moment in time, like I said, 2008 hit, I lost my job. I had to I had to work, these real low paying jobs and go to college full time. You met me at a point where shoot, man, I didn't even have a bed, man. I was getting divorced at that time. I didn't even have a bed and you came and helped me. I couldn't afford, the budget was so tight, I couldn't afford for the delivery on the sofa I bought on credit. That's where I was at. But humbly I asked for help and humbly somebody showed up, bro.
Got you, bro.
Yo, that part right there goes a long way for me, man, because that couch, I sprung off into so many things after that. I graduated with my master's in accounting.
What did it feel like to graduate?
So you got people who are always gonna say education is blah blah blah, whatever. You can make it without education. All that shit's true. You can make it without it. But for me, it was the discipline. It was the fact to actually put a goal in front of me and actually complete it, right? It's something that was hard, because when you graduate with a master's in accounting, you're in the 10% of people who graduate college. You know what I'm saying? So the numbers are small of, in America, people who have that particular field or that education and stuff like that.
And think about the number of addicts that get clean, that go back to school, that get master's degrees.
Yeah.
I always like to see it's bro, it's unrealistic that you and I are clean the way that we used.
Facts.
And the fact that you've gone back to school and got a master's degree is it defies the odds, bro.
1000%, man. I'm super grateful for that experience.
Imagine being in jail and be like, which one of these motherfuckers gonna get a master's degree?
Not me. Not me. Yo, I got counted out a long time ago, man. And it's funny because till this day, I still get that. I still get the judgment of people when they see me and stuff until I open my mouth, you know what I mean? Or sometimes, you get around a lot of people, because I don't come from that group of people sometimes. And, but But I end up being the smartest person in the table, and I got the credentials to say it, so bam, you know what I'm saying? I don't like to brag about that, but yo, at the end of the day, yo, you can strip me of everything that I have, but you can't take my education away, man. You can't take my knowledge. Yo, and like that's the beauty of like the recovery and journey, because I have knowledge in that, you know, and it's kept me clean through those situations, losing jobs, losing relationships, losing houses, losing everything, man. Because, yo, recovery, yo, it's great, dope, you know, but, you know, it's work. You know, it's very challenging times, as all of us know. You know, my journey through that, man, I've been able to do so much, man. I've traveled the world. You know, I've been in so many different business ventures. You know, I got to learn a lot about myself and relationships.
Bro, you really traveled the world, though.
Yeah, I've really traveled the world.
Like, sometimes people say that, like, yeah, I've been to Costa Rica.
They've been to Costa Rica. They've been to DR twice. Yeah. You know what I mean? No, I've actually...
What's the top 5 dopest places you've been?
Top 5 dopest places for me are, you know, I would have to say one of my favorite... Well, my favorite place to always land and visit would be Barcelona, Switzerland. I love Zurich. Barcelona, I love Croatia, Chile, but like down by Patagonia. And Guatemala is my top one. I love going to Guatemala, man. I go to Guatemala every year. It's COVID.
You're the tallest person there, right?
I'm the tallest Guatemalan ever, yo. Tallest Guatemalan, yo. And I love it. You know, it's beautiful. It's rich in culture, man. You know, recovery has allowed me to like be able to feel comfortable with who I am.
What got you into traveling? Because I remember, bro, there was 5 years where you were sitting crisscross with a cappuccino in front of you.
Yeah, just meditating.
And you be like in...
Spiritual awakenings is what got me into... But
Switzerland, the pyramids. You be in Egypt or some shit.
Yeah. It was a vibe.
And people are like, bro, what does this dude do for a living?
Yeah.
So how did you get to a point where you could, like, how was the trials and tribulations trying to apply to go work at a firm, that not working out, to being your own boss, to being able to work off your laptop and travel the world?
Yeah, man, it's crazy because, like I said, I had to, like, deprogram a lot of, like, stereotypes that I had in my own head about how things are done, how money is made.
For agreements, bro.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. It's just all that stuff, for agreements and all that stuff. And so what I realize now, you know, if I could analyze as best as possible, is that and I know it's crazy, and I know people hear it over and over, anything that you put your mind to, you will obtain. Now, the hit is that you could get from point A to point B, but we don't know what's in between. And that's the part that makes it or breaks it with people, right? Because, like, you know, like right now, you know, my biggest dream right now is an A-frame, right? I'm trying to, like, you know, get a little cabin out west, some land, you know, and build this A-frame, you know. I'm going to build it from scratch, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to do the whole thing. But, you know, I had to put it out in the universe and just believe in it, you know what I'm saying? And actually, but believing is only one aspect of it. I got to believe, then I got to put in the work, right? Then I got to get in the trenches. I got to make the calls. I got to find the right realtor. I got to find the right piece of land. Once I find the right piece of land, I got to make sure that, does it have a septic tank? Does it have, you know, ability to connect the septic tank? You know, where am I going to get power from? Blah, blah. All these other questions. Yo, that's how life is, man. And that's how recovery is. You know, your initial step is like stepping in and admitting that you're an addict. But then how you get to a spiritual awakening in step 12 or in between is by working those steps. You know what I mean? And a lot of people, you know, don't realize that everything is work. Everything is work. Whatever you do, you got to put in application and to build mastery. Yo, I remember praying for the problems that I had, you know? So I stopped asking for shit, you know? I stopped asking for stuff. You know, that's what one of the most beautiful prayers I think that we have is the serenity prayer, you know? God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change and the courage to change the things I can. And the wisdom to know the difference. The wisdom, you know. And wisdom takes time, bro.
What I can and cannot control, bro.
Yeah.
You know how much time we waste focusing on shit that I had no control over? This motherfucker.
Why don't they love me? Why? Why doesn't that person love me? And instead of just knowing the wisdom and just understanding that, like, yo, man, God got us. God got each and every one of us, yo. Every one of us, you know what I mean? We make the decisions to end up in the places we end up.
The day we were born.
Yeah.
My mom grew up, I grew up with a religious mom. And I remember when I was a kid, I'd be like, Mom, I need these shoes. And she'd be like, Everything you needed, God gave you when you were born.
Facts. There's a passage that says, if God gives the birds and the flowers the food and the flowers the glory of how beautiful they look every day or every season, why isn't he not going to make sure you're fed and clothed, if you're his like perfect creation? And says, if you believe in all that, right? My spirituality has gone further than that. It's gone into like, universe mentality, connection, energy. I believe in numerology, obviously. I'm an accountant. I love that stuff. But my biggest connection is just really connection, man. I understand now when I'm being authentic and then when I'm not, and I strive to try to be as authentic as possible, man. At least with myself, and also put up boundaries, because you can't make everybody happy, and not everybody's going to be your fan, and I get that, and I'm okay with that.
A lot of times it's just to like end the conversation of striving for perfection.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, bro, I'll get a 99 and think about that 1% I didn't get all day.
All day I'm in that.
Constant comparing,
Would you say comparison is the thief of joy, right? Or would you say when I start comparing, I lose my presence? And that was like, when you told me that, I started applying that. I talked to you, like a couple weeks ago, you hit me with that one. And
someone hit me with it. You know what I mean?
Fuck me up.
I was talking to somebody and I was like, yo, I think you're gonna do good because you're better than this company and what you guys do good that this company doesn't do. And he was like, yo, I appreciate all that, brother. But if I get caught up in the comparison, I'll lose like the glory to God that what he's doing for me, and I'll get sidetracked. And I was just like,
whoa.
I was trying to give you a compliment, bro, and like
whatever.
I was just like, true. I need to take that. I need to take that own advice because a lot of times I'd be comparing it to what this person is doing. I'd be Googling people's net worths at my age. I'd be like just comparing. And the reality is, bro, is that, there's this book that I read in college that is like an old book. And it was saying that, like people in our lives aren't numbers. And a lot of times we want to make it look like numbers so we can compare them.
Yes.
But it is so different, they can't be compared. They're two different people, two different routes, two different journeys. You can't say that, because at the end, we all go to the same place. We're all dying. So you can't compare the road to someone else's. It's incomparable, bro.
Yeah, so somebody's out there married to your dream girl, miserable as fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you're over here comparing,
and
just
we all
because,
are. We all are. We're all miserable in some way. We all struggle. We all fucked up. We all inauthentic. We all lie. We all manipulate. Whatever. I like to align myself with people that are aware of it.
Yes.
I just need you to be aware of it at some point,
about it.
and be able to take it when I try to bring awareness to you, and I want you to be able to bring awareness to me, and I want us to like encourage each other to keep going. That's all I ask for. Or that all I strive for, because I don't know it all, bro.
Yeah, that connection. You know, that's what it's about.
But we connect with the flaws. Yeah. We don't connect with all the other bullshit.
Yeah.
What brings us close together is like, yo, dude, I fucked up today. Me too. Yeah. Like the me too of like someone being like, yo, I feel like using. And you're like, bro, me too. Yeah. I remember my sponsor told me that. I called him. I was like, bro, I feel like using. He said, me too. I was like, bro, you're the sponsor, bro.
What we gonna do?
You got like 5 years clean, bro. He's like, yeah, I had a fucked up day today. I was like,
damn.
Bro, you're supposed to be like, nah, you don't gotta use it. He was like, I'm right here with you.
I'll pick you up.
But there was something spiritual in somebody not trying to coach me and someone just being like, bro, we in this shit together.
1,000, because that's what it's like. That's what it's like, man, that journey.
And that's why addicts can help addicts. Yeah. Because it's not from a mentor state. It's not from a above state. It's not from a you need to do this. Yeah. It's like, bro, we both in this shit.
Yo, you don't know how many times like I've gotten some of the most authentic, genuine, like responses to me sharing have come when I've shared about my pain and my struggles and how I got through them. You know what I mean? Because like all the fluff, all the cool stuff, the travels, all that stuff, that's cool stuff.
People don't connect with it.
Nah, they don't connect with it. Exactly.
They think it's cool, and
they don't have the experience in it.
I'll like it on Instagram or whatever. But I ain't thinking about it when I leave here.
Yeah. It's not doing anything for me when I'm in my room depressed, thinking about smoking crack or doing the next drug. So, like, people connect with the struggle, man. You know what I mean? Like, I connect with the struggle. what is it? That common bond that ties us together stronger than that tears us apart.
All will be well.
Yeah, which is our recovery, and which is like our self-identification and our understanding of like who we are, our pain and all that stuff. Because like I don't necessarily like all our stories are different, but the feelings and the pain and all that stuff is the same. That's what I identify with. I don't care if you grew up in like a wealthy household or you were in the projects. At the end of the day, it's insecurities, coping with like, dysfunctional thoughts, and like addiction and all this other stuff. It's all the same in that respect. And that's what I try to connect with, man. Yeah, man, it's like I said, man, like this journey has been beyond my wildest dreams. Like today is beyond my wildest dreams, man. I love what you're doing here. I love what you've been doing with your life. Bro. Like I know that we've been talking about, where we're going and like a lot of these passion projects are coming up, man. So like I love that you're doing this podcast, man.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, good stuff.
More will be revealed.
Yeah,
I
for
love
sure.
you, bro. Let's wrap it up, and hopefully I'll have you back on here sometime.
You got it, dog. Love you, man.
This show is not affiliated with any specific 12-step program. If you or a loved one is struggling with an addiction, please find a local 12-step meeting. If you believe you may need detox or drug treatment of any kind, please call 888-699-9395 to speak to a specialist. The show is sponsored by United Recovery Project, a state-of-the-art drug and alcohol rehab facility. You can visit our website at unitedrecoveryproject.com.